I'll train right to spin fire. The NFT and Asa. Diving deep into projects. He's the crypto energizer. From your mint coins to tokens. He's got all the intel. Web3 news and trees. Show you where to bid sell. He's got the insights like a digital magician, unveiling secrets of the blockchain with precision.
Yo, good morning, guys.
Stories from the web.
Oh my God, happy Virgen all-time high day, happy GVC all-time high day. I think we're in store for another one of those days, possibly. It's feeling like it. FOMC today. Today's one of those days where we'll say the morning right now. It's one of those times where people say maybe don't trade, and we're gonna wait and see how that goes. But we're FOMC comments, meeting notes, whatever coming in. Let me think here. 4 hours, 5 hours. Yeah, dude, we got that chance, cats. We do have that chance coming today. Maybe not expecting rate cuts. I don't know. I'm not expecting anything so fuddy that it hurts the momentum we've been building here, but you never know. And so again, typically on a day like today, people are sitting back and waiting and watching. We're watching. So we're going to move kind of quickly this morning to get right to the AI token launches on virtuals. There's one happening right now. And we might just be trading that live. So, of course, we got to get over there. Solace opens up too. We'll get to that in a quick second. Some GMs, though. Murray, good morning. Drop King, good morning. Cutie, good morning. Hoods, he's here too. Cats and Awful Eye here. Love it. It's the gang. It's good to see you, boys. Smash the like wherever you guys are watching, mostly on YouTube, it looks like. And, guys, that's where you should come over. And at the very least, subscribe over here. We're very dialed into the virtuals plays. And we'll continue to be exactly that with ACP coming soon, with our Swarm agent right in the thick of the ACP. You need to be paying attention to what's happening on virtuals. And we'll keep you dialed in right here. Again, subscribe over on CryptoSlam on YouTube. You can follow me at Hudah_idiot on X. Follow us at CryptoSlam.io over on X. And then our flagship AI agent, that is the Swarm_AI. Really cool stuff coming here. You guys know. Probably actually more than you know. I'll say that. And maybe sooner than you think, too. So stay plugged in here. Some great new guests coming on the show within the next few days here, working on some spicy things. We'll see. Roth, good morning. Good to see you, man. Let's get right to the market and quickly over to virtuals here. Crypto looking, okay this morning. Looks like we're down across the board, it looks like. But again, this is FOMC. This is people just waiting, not making any big plays right now. It's always interesting if there's, I don't want to say leaked info, but if there's just a little news or something that makes it out ahead of time, you might see it here. You might see it in some price action. I think we have NVIDIA earnings tonight as well. It's after market close. We'll keep our eye on that too. Bitcoin at 108.9. ETH still over 2,600. Actually, ETH up in the past 24 hours, but ETH up over 2,600. Ripple 231. Solana 174. Yeah, I guess at this point, a bit of a mixed bag here. Top movers in the past 24 hours. TON has a big announcement. We'll get to that. It's actually AI related, but up almost 22% here. Tokenized exchange up 10.7. Quant up 8.1. Injective up 3%. And then Leo up 2.8. Those are your top gainers. Your top losers. Monero, they're at number one, down just over 10%. Render 6.4% down. Hyperliquid down almost 5%. Jupe down 4.3%. And then Fartcoin down almost 4% here. Over in ETFs, Bitcoin, 385 million inflows yesterday. Another great day. Love to see it. And then on the ETH side, 38.8 mil in inflows. Good stuff. On the NFT side, just over 12 mil in cross-chain sales yesterday. One of our weaker days of the past few weeks, for sure. Wow. Unique sellers are down. Unique buyers are down. Transactions down slightly. Average sale price way down, guys. Down to $35 again. Yeah, this is some of the lowest average sale prices we've seen in weeks, like many weeks here. So interesting to see that. And then trade profits about $1 million in the negative, as we expect now. Top collections move in this market here. It's Steam Market on top. Gilded Guardian Heroes, Courtyard, Bad Buns, man. We'll get to them, later on when we get to headlines and some NFT and market talk. But Bad Buns ETH collection, but focused on, it's a mega ETH collection, really. These things, we saw calls for these under 0.1, now at 0.4. Absolutely cooking. Cats, I believe it, dude. We need, Bookie's going to break base. That's the hot token we're going to talk about here shortly. And, the Solana integration can't come soon enough. It's there. So, yeah. CryptoPunk's on the board too. Bored Apes and Bored Apes on Blast as well. GVC, like I mentioned at the start, all-time high, 0.85 floor now. Absolutely cooking. Rares moving. Every hour you're seeing something moving well above the floor. Wild stuff. And your top sales here, well, your top sale, it's Punk number 9695, went for almost 54 ETH, $143,000. Incredible things, guys. Incredible things. I like to, we get good examples, good reminders of why we're so focused on AI here now. It matters a lot. It matters a lot. We always check Cookie. We check virtuals. We're paying attention to these agent tokens. And, it's safe to say we're early to so much of it. The rest of the world is coming. They're coming. They're all coming to crypto. We know that. And we know how AI is going to impact everybody's lives. It already is starting to. But the investment opportunities here in crypto AI is such a special opportunity. And I still feel we're at the ground floor of that. Grayscale has put out a research report, guys, highlighting the top 20 AI tokens here. At least, it's maybe it's not top by market cap. I think it is, but it's a curated list of the top 20 tokens here. Where these 20 together have a $20 billion market cap. Like, my goodness, guys. And you'll see when we look at Cookie.fun, market cap much lower, right? That one is, let's just say it's not totally comprehensive here. There's other AI tokens out there. It's a big deal. Everybody's focusing on this AI crypto sector now. Again, it's why we're putting such a big focus on it. But you can see their list, like BitTensor here, Near, right? The Near blockchain, now very AI focused. So they're including Near in their list of AI tokens. Render, there's FET that we've been looking at. I'm telling you, we don't see FET talked about on the timeline at all. You hear about it here. WorldCoin, there's our sweet virtuals and Storybright. It's a lot of familiar names here, but the world is paying attention to those. Now, you notice the kind of tokens they don't have on their list yet. That's not on the radar. It is the stuff we're talking about. And some of those tokens, guys, some of these tokens that today could be, a couple $1 million market cap, could one day be the next $1 billion token. Could happen. And I kind of expect that to happen with something that's close to us. A deal. Looking at the AI agent market cap here, 11.71 billion, up almost 1.5% here in the past 24 hours. Top agents by market cap, Fartcoin on top, 1.38 bill. It's not really an agent, by the way, inspired by an agent. We have Ket, Turbo, Toshi, and AIXBT. Looking at the infrastructure plays, and there is FET. Again, nobody's talking about FET, but 2.4 bill market cap, followed by Virtual, AI16Z, AGT. We'll have to do a little deep dive into that. AGT, I told you we'd start seeing some new faces here. Really interesting. And Cookie at number 5 there. And then in DeFi, it's Ask Venice, Griffane, Hey Anon, Olas, and Cortex. Man, as I'm reading these names and I'm thinking about some launches that are coming soon, I can picture in my head some new names that probably are going to show up here pretty quickly. We're probably going to mention one of them here today. And then top agents or top AI tokens by Mindshare. And yeah, no surprise, Virtual still firmly on top here. Man, followed by actually Cookie catching up. Closer than I thought. Fartcoin, AIXBT, and then Rect. That Virtual, oh my goodness. A rare Whirly Girl sighting. Really good to see. It's been a minute, but great to have you here. Good morning. Virgen, guys. All-time high last night. I don't know if you saw, but the Virgen token, after getting a buy from, caught a bid from the Virtuals platform, right? They bought it. They airdropped it to random Virtual stakers. Not everybody who staked virtuals got this token drop. It was randomized, but a lot of people got a nice stimmy, a nice Virgin stimmy. And also, Vader bought up more token and they burned the token. Guys, Virgin got to a $32 or $33 million market cap. What a ridiculous thing we're seeing. And good ridiculous. Like phenomenal ridiculous. Good morning, Panic. I missed you early, girl. I'm glad you're here. Okay. Maybe some aggressive profit taking right here, right now. And you better believe that's expected. We touched 33 mil. And at the launch, pre-sale comes in at what? 200K, 220K. Guys, we're talking like 150X from the pre-sale. Like incredible things. And I'll always share like my trades, my moves, whatever. I do that. I sold this morning. I'm out and I'll be back in. But I'm pretty used to seeing a pump like this and knowing people are going to wake up overnight and see that their bags are up. Well, in this case, like 2x, right? 2x from where they probably went to bed last night. But again, people who held from the beginning, people like me who got in a little bit on the pre-sale or bought after the token went live and bought, like I did it at like a 2.3 mil market cap. Well, we're then up 15x. Guys are going to be taking profit right here, right now. And so I did sell. And my $80 or $60, and I wish I had the exact number. Let's say 60. I think it's much closer to that. My $60 is turned into what, 1,600 here? 1,600. And I think I'm going to use this and actually buy right back in. Right? I want exposure to the Virgin token. I think this thing's got just ridiculous potential. I'm talking like 100 million potential as the meme coin of the virtuals ecosystem. Yeah, I'm not going to be sidelined for this, but definitely saw that the opportunities there, and it gets me liquid to play tokens today. It's why this token is actually so good for the ecosystem. People getting liquid and playing the current drops. There's a little FUD out there. Guys, I will always keep it real here. If there's FUD about virtuals, we're talking about the FUD here too. Look, virtuals had a big old oopsie yesterday, and it probably impacted you guys too. If yesterday, actually not caught in hindsight, it did impact me. If you guys saw a whole bunch of points hit your account yesterday, maybe like an unusual amount, chances are it was a mistake. And so that hit probably everybody on the platform. I ended up yesterday with, I think, my biggest point drop to date. Thought nothing of it. I just thought that I was, scaling up, getting better at this thing. But no, they actually had a mistake and they had some kind of multiplier, some kind of accident where people got a lot more points than they were supposed to. Now they've fixed it. They've rolled it back, but not before some people actually put those points to use and actually committed those to some projects. So I don't know how they're handling it if you spent your points. They can't really roll you back at that point. They're committed. So those people might have gotten away with some free points, but you might have seen your point total actually decrease since yesterday morning. There's a chance. So be aware of that. Just be aware that there was a little oopsie, and they're transparent like always. I couldn't love a team any more than these guys. Like transparent, again, dialing this stuff in our favor. Just awesome guys. And let's see. Staked half your Virgin. Yeah. So Cats, that's a really smart play. I think that's a really smart play. I wanted to keep this as my liquid play, just so I don't have to go and buy. I can just keep, hopefully just stacking virtual from farming this. But yeah, well, what do you see in there, Cats? The mistake here is what? Lots of extra points were committed to this, so Bookie's pretty watered down. And guys, let's get right into our big drops coming this morning. In fact, Bookie's now closed. Bookie was 1,300% oversubscribed with a record high number of participants, 8,856. So a lot of people had a lot of bonus points to spend, and they spent it right here, meaning your allocation is going to be pretty watered down. By the way, if there's anybody new watching from the Mana community, welcome. I got to host like a kind of an AMA or a little virtual like tutorial session. Just showed them the platform, explained to them strategy, explained to them why I think it's still early. So I hope we've got some new viewers here today, but welcome. Yeah, especially if you came from over there. And we did point out Bookie as well as a hot drop that's coming, but also as, when you got to be mindful of your points to, subscription ratio, whatever, like this one is going to water you down. And we're clearly seeing that. On top is seeing the demand here. It's pretty wild on this platform. Base can't handle it. Maybe the virtuals platform also can't handle. I mean, there's a lot of people on the platform. But we're looking for this TGE to happen probably in the next few minutes. Token goes live, right? Commit period's closed. It's been open for 24 hours. Token's going to go live. It's going to get dropped to, well, you'll be able to claim it if you got in the pre-sale, and then trading opens up. And this is why I wanted to get some liquid virtual tokens, because I'm probably going to trade this token. So I'm going to keep my eyes here. I'm probably going to trade this when it does open up. Man, set that slippage high. Get ready for the base. I don't know what we call it, but man, base can't handle this kind of volume. It can't, which is shocking because I thought that's what they're built for. But so far hasn't worked out that way. Okay, yeah, guys, if you see this go live, drop me a message in chat. Just let me know that it's live, because I do want to come back, and I'm probably going to trade this. But yeah, we've got other hot drops here coming, and it's going to get really, really interesting today. How's the points game going to work? How is it going to work? Do people have enough points to go around? And we will hit a time where there's not, where there's so many good drops that you don't have enough points to allocate. It's the perfect storm we're waiting for, and look, that I know is coming. I think it's going to match up with when Solana agents start going live. Probably way too many drops. Look, the site's just not working right now. Absolutely bonkers. And we'll keep refreshing. It will come up, but everybody's sitting at their computer refreshing and trying. Look, they want to do what I'm doing. They want to claim their tokens, and they probably want to go trade this token right now. It's a great time to be playing the game. Remember, you get points for trading too. Good morning, Mike Bennett. Speaking of points, I did get my biggest day of points. Somehow, some way, and I'm not really sure why. If it'll load, I'm not really sure why. I'm trying to think. Maybe 3,000 or 4,000. Cats, why do you think buy before you claim? Just curious. 4,000 points today, maybe 5. No, actually 5 or 6. And I don't know how. It gave me a bunch of points for yapping. I don't think I tweeted yesterday at all. So I'm not really sure how that worked out. I'm not totally sure. I did have a tweet. Somebody else tweeted, and I think they tagged me, and maybe that was enough to do it. But my biggest day of points, and I'm just not sure why. Not complaining either. Quick check-in too with Magnus, right? Agent token that launched yesterday. Decent with the points committed, and I'm trying to remember how 700% oversubscribed. But you know what? I like this agent. I went on the website. I get it now. You're going to go play games against an AI, and there's like a prize pool. You beat the AI at chess, you win. You win the pool. Really cool. But also, I don't think a game-changing product or something that's going to keep driving attention. But you see what that kind of agent then gets you, which is almost a 3 mil market cap, which is really cool. Marty, it's brutal. It's really hard. Do it on Uniswap, probably. You could do it on Uniswap, but yeah, it's like with Virgen pumping the way it is, slippage is an issue. The base blockchain being just so bogged down is an issue. It's very hard. But look, man, what do they say? Friction is the something bullshit for profits. You're right. There's a saying. There's a saying here. When there's friction that's keeping people out. It's when we have our best opportunity to do the things most other people won't do and make some profits there. Don't waste time. Price is going to shoot up. So buy some first, then claim. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. So if you're going to trade and claim, no point wasting your time claiming. Just get right to trading. And I'm usually watching for the first pullback too, but it depends on where that market cap sits. If Bookie's already up to 7 or 8 mil, I'm not touching it yet. Right? Because these good hot agents get to like 7 to 10, right? That's where I see the hot ones come out. If we already start at 7, 8, 9, I'm not going to touch it. If Bookie's around 2 or 3 mil, I'm in. If Bookie's at 4 or 5, I'm probably in. Anything above 5, I'm going to kind of wait and watch if the site will even work. So we'll keep refreshing and looking. Bookie could and should hit 10, I think. It's going to be in the ACP with Billy Betts. He's got hype. He's going to be doing a spaces with Bader. Like, everything's lined up there for Bookie to do well. I think it's a good one. Now, here's the other play coming today, and it's a big one. By the way, here's a little details about Bookie. It's just a sports bookie, but autonomous, like freaking awesome. Now Solace opens up today. In an hour and a half, you can start committing points to Solace. And this is going to be a massive cook too. Massive cook. Now we're going to see how many points do people have left over. And I do think people save their points for Bookie and for Solace, right? I'm pretty sure. I think this one's going to be heavily oversubscribed. I think Solace is going to see record participation too, which is crazy because Bookie just hit that record. But I think one after another, we're about to see two record setters here. Solace will be the most, maybe most oversubscribed, although I'm not sure about that. Right? I think our record for oversubscription is like 3,000 ish. The participants, 8,800 is a new record. I do think Solace beats it. And let me see, Mike Bennett, you plan to sell regardless. So the way I would be playing this is so Mike, keep in mind, you only get a timeout if you sell your pre-sale tokens. If I'm buying it when it goes live, I can trade those. There's no timeout at all. You only get timeout if you get in the pre-sale and then you sell those tokens specifically. So if you're just trading, no timeouts, nothing. You're all good. And then Virgen, no timeouts on that because it had no locked tokens. So free to play. Free to play. Yep. The cat strategy is what works and what I've been doing on these drops. What I buy in pre-sale, stake them. I trade separately, try to cover my my purchase and get extra points. It's Mike Bennett, I'll tell you pretty much nothing. Pretty much nothing, man. Virtuals is special right now. So Solace, remember, this is an AI companion. It's all about wellness, mental health, whatever, but with some physical devices too. Really cool. I think this will work. I'll tell you, you guys remember it points this space like champions mental health, right? Even though this space is probably the worst thing possible for your mental health. It's a weird thing. It's a lot of like, this is not a comment about Solace, but in general, there's a lot of virtue signaling here in crypto, right? It's it's just what we do. But this token's going to cook. The number one finisher at the Virtuals Hackathon will have great support. We'll have great support from Virtuals, I believe. And so, yes, I think this one's going to absolutely cook. Probably worth committing points to, even if it's the most oversubscribed, right? I could picture, well, first off, the Virtuals partnership I could picture. So maybe you want to stake Virtual, but you got to be spending your points anyways, right? We've talked game plan. You don't just sit on your points. You need to spend them, and you spend them to make more points. So you want to get in on some of these drops. And I'll say that maybe other than Bookie and Solace, I don't see anything coming up in the next day or two. We'll double check when this is all actually working, but nothing in the next day or two that's really caught my attention that I want to play. And for the most part, it's not even things I think are going to complete. Stuff here and there. Guys, also, you got to notice this. With the cost of virtual going up, so now the pre-sale price, what you're buying in at now, it's no longer, $200K. And guys, at one point it was like $175K, right? It goes by the price of virtual. Right now, these pre-sales are launching at $266K, $266,000. So quite a bit higher than we were used to even just a week ago. But still, I mean, guys, hitting a mil market cap means you're still up 4x. So incredible things, man. Solace in an hour and a half. See if the platform's working by then. We'll see a ton of points. Again, could be record high across the board. Now, what I'm watching for is the big old X factors. I'm looking for things that people are not planning for, and maybe they spend all their points and don't have the opportunity to play them. Asynchronous, I think, is going to catch people by surprise. I saw some lists out there, right? These ranking lists. And asynchronous was not ranked super high. It was ranked fairly, like toss up, right middle of the road. And I think that's fair. But I also think a project who is in the NVIDIA Inception program, who is backed by Google startups and backed by, I don't know if it's the Arbitrum Foundation or what exactly. And shout out to these guys. They gave a little love yesterday, made a clip from the show. But I think that agent is going to be one of the most talked about agents next week. And I do think the community is going to circle that one. Even that first, what's the other one? ERM or whatever? The escape. Yeah, it is a ERM. I like that one. But I have a feeling this is going to be the winner out of the two. And I have I think this is going to be the top performer next week. This launches next Tuesday. So I'm making sure my point strategy revolves around asynchronous. And we'll see what others do. I mean, look, if you go all in on Solace today, I believe by the time asynchronous rolls around, you're probably earning all your points back. Probably. Just don't quote me on it because I don't know. But we'll see. So I'm going to definitely put some to Solace, but my game plan is around asynchronous now. So we'll see. I like that one. We'll spend more time diving into that, and trying to get the team on the show here too, so they can come tell us about what they're building. Should be fun. Anyway, keep me updated, guys, on when Bookie actually works. I'm like itching to trade. Otherwise, dude, I'm gonna roll over the profits to you know what. I think some of you guys know what I want to roll over to. It's Drop King knows the one. It's the one. Yeah, that man, that token, that async token, and I do think that one's gonna be legit, like really legit, and especially guys. Okay, here's the perfect storm, perfect setup. People spend their points; they're going crazy spending their points, and they haven't put asynchronous on their radar. And let's say magically, like the Solana launches start next week. And let's say FOMC is great and we get a rate cut today. Again, I'm doing fantasy, perfect talk here, or perfect storm. But maybe rate cuts, market sends, we start cooking. Well, okay, right now where I see new launches hitting like a 10 mil market cap as their ceiling, right? Short term, 10 mil market cap. We've seen it. That's maybe 7 to 10. And you see after weeks, something like Axelrod's now at like 25, 26 mil. That's the potential. But like out of the gates, they've been hitting up to 10. That could change, and it could change as soon as next week if we get this perfect storm. And we could see these agents launching like right out of the gate, hitting 15, 20 mil market caps. Right out of the gate. That's the next phase of this. If this market really starts picking up, we're talking much higher market caps much sooner. And then we'll stay in fantasy land for a minute. This gets really stupid. Right? This gets really stupid at some point where it's not 20 mil we're hitting right away. We're hitting 35, 50 mil. You see that all the time in meme coins. You see it all the time. Now that's like usually, it's usually like the peak of that market, but like we're heading towards that. If this perfect storm comes, and at some point it does, we're heading to that day where these things rip tens of millions in a day. It's coming. There you go. Yeah, Drop King. Exactly what I'm thinking, man. Oh my God, dude, panic. I'm with you. So when I was chatting with the Mana guys yesterday, we were talking about like, what are the risks here? It's really, I'm glad people are thinking about that. It's important. And I didn't have a great answer for them. And I hate that I don't have a good answer for them, but I'm like, that's why I think this is such a special little window of time and a special opportunity with virtuals. It's very low risk. There's very low risk. With the tokens launching where they launch it, it's only because of that. It's because they launch at such a low market cap. It's the point system, right? Mike, I hate to say there's no risk. The risk is always rugs. The risk is something you can't really plan for other than just be aware. Like, what if the virtuals team's rugs? Like, it's not realistic, but what if? And so I'm like, the only real risk I see out there is bear market. The time where there's no market for even a $220,000 market cap token, but you've got no buyers for something like that, that's when it ends. That's the risk. But I got to say, man, until we get to that time where you got nobody interested in trading tokens at all, how do you not just do this? All in on it. How do you not? Yeah, we got some great times ahead. Smart. Yep. You need a plan. You need a goal. You do need that stuff. But right now, okay, and the strategy I told to the Mana crew yesterday was my goal, my plan is grind points. Get as many points as possible to go get in on a launch and get a big allocation and then sell it. And yes, get hit with timeout. Get put in a cooldown. Yes, gonna have to take that hit at some point. But I want to get as many points as I can, get a big allocation. And when I talk about a big allocation, guys, I want to get $100 or $200, worth of a token. And I want to see that 100x, right? That's what I'm aiming for is a launch where I can get a decent chunk. And the 100x puts it at a 20 mil market cap. Now, at that point, I imagine virtuals is higher. Maybe we're talking 25 or 30 mil at that point. That's pretty likely. But I mean, if I can turn $100 into $10,000, which is incredibly doable here, I'll take that time out. I'll get put on that cooldown for 10 days. Absolutely. So that's my goal. Grind as many points as possible by trading. And when I'm finally sitting on a couple 100,000 points, all in on a drop that I know is going to cook. That's the plan. Get yourself fine-tuned for the irrational top. Most of these agents, yes. Yep. It's yeah. There'll be a great dumping at some point too. It'll happen. Same with all these. It'll happen. But the thing we can't count on, we can't plan for yet, is ACP. When ACP goes live, how does that change this ecosystem? Remember, these agents are going to be working together using the Virtuals token to transact. It's a lot more demand potentially on the virtual token. It's going to affect the price of virtual. It is. If you have, look, it's going to launch with 2 swarms, but if they end up having hundreds of different swarms, like hundreds of them, and long road, maybe thousands, we'll see, but hundreds of swarms that are all transacting in virtual. And again, every agent needs that token. Every agent needs a wallet of virtual to transact with each other. It's going to push the price of virtual up because now all the demand is there. The demand from the ACP side and the demand from our side to use it for these launches. These launches are, well, it's worth considering. These agents aren't going to launch at these 200K market caps at some point. At some point, it might be a lot higher. And that changes the game a little bit here. But it's something to keep in mind. It's gonna get very, very interesting here, and it's gonna get interesting really soon. Okay, still waiting for what TGE or for this to actually load. It's in the process of TG, but the site's just getting obliterated. So hour and a half till Solace. Going to put the points. I am going to put some points to it. I have to play something. I have to keep. You gotta play. I found the best strategy is spend your points, and earn more points because of it. And again, last point, but last comment here. I'm planning on asynchronous coming up next Tuesday. I am definitely looking to play that one. Some updates here from across the AI ecosystem. Man, we keep talking about new projects, right? New agent launches. And a lot of people are starting to go back and focus on the good old ones, as they should. By the way, Rocky, good morning, man. And who else is here? Young, hang on. Young Sugarcoat, good morning, man. It's good to see you boys over on Abstract. Yep. It's a good idea. Every day be active. Every single day. So yes, you probably want to go back and focus on old established agents, especially the ones in the Virtuals ACP. Gigabrain, I'm pretty damn sure Gigabrain's in the autonomous hedge fund trading DAO too, at some point. I'm pretty sure he's there. Gigabrain is also trading Hyperliquid. This is like a quality agent, a quality AI ecosystem that actually has like some product market fit. These tools that autonomously trade for you, hell yeah. These things are awesome. They've hit 10 million in trading volume. Incredible. That's a really useful tool. Last I saw, and it's probably up from this price, but last I saw like a week ago is at a 5 mil market cap. I see a ton of upsides on agents like this. Ton of upside on agents like that. AI XBT, right? It was like the darling of last cycle. Guy got to like $1 billion market cap, right? More recently, what, like 175 mil? Way lower. Tons of upside. Also in the autonomous hedge fund trading DAO in the ACP, right? With our agent. I'm telling you that swarm is going to catch people's attention, man. Our agent working with AIXBT, working with Axelrod and a couple others, man, it's going to get really spicy. Really spicy. Anyway, AIXBT is a terminal and a Telegram group and alpha in their Telegram. I just want to point out these older projects are still building. And if you got good quality teams, you better believe they're probably a lot further along than the new things launching right now. And I actually think that Virtuals is going to dial rewards at some point to favor the old projects. Right now, it's favoring the Genesis launches. I have a feeling they're going to do this and retune it a little to reward the people who've been here building. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. And I'm pretty sure already our Swarm token gets not Diamond Hand bonus, right? Like not like the Genesis launches, but I do think Swarm earns more points than other agents that you stake and you get default points. I'm pretty sure about that. I think they did a favor or did something for the tokens that launched with Vader. I think so. So also don't quote me there, but I've heard that from a couple sources. I think it's true. DGen Capital launched KOL Radar. This is pretty cool. Analyzes, your favorite influencers on X and shows you their P&L based on their calls. I don't know how that even works. I don't know how it knows. Maybe it checks the price of a token at the time they mentioned it. I think that's what it is, which is actually pretty darn useful. Rank KOLs by their calls. I bet you, dude, you guys know I'm not a KOL and I don't play the X game much, and I should. But I bet you if we started tracking tokens when I mention them on the show and compare them to where they get, I bet you we do pretty freaking well here. I bet you I would score pretty high on that. I'm not a great trader, but I do find a lot early. So I'm curious to pull my name up in that. I don't think you can do it because it's mostly on video, but dude, I love Virtual's Moonship. I love it. What's their project name? Remind me. I'm trying to remember who that one is. A couple other updates and then to Moonship. You'll love this, but on to crypto and NFT news. Subs.fun. I'd want to get them on the show, but they're going to be opening for the public, which is awesome. Like a general launch. As like right now, you need to hold tokens to get in these gated group chats, which I like. I like this. I always thought there was a room or a way to make this stuff work. You know, the InfoFi. What was Friend Tech? What did we call that? I guess it was SocialFi. There's a way to make that work. They might be onto something. Ansem is in there a little bit. He is. Keep your eye on that. AIXVC and Axelrod, the head agent in the autonomous hedge fund and trading DAO. Again, I'll keep saying it, man. This is your opportunity. I believe it is. Axelrod's sitting at near a 30 mil market cap. Right? Spicy. AIXBT at what? 170 something mil market cap? Well, first off, Axelrod's getting a facelift. Just a heads up. Oh my God, Bookie broke virtuals. All right, that makes sense. They got hot drops coming. Axelrod's getting a facelift. You know him as like this, like kind of old boomerish looking dude. Not soon. Total change. Total change. Don't know what he's going to look like yet. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up looking like this guy, maybe, but we'll see. Anyway, he's getting a facelift. We'll see what he looks like coming up here soon. He's going to have to look fresh. He's going to represent the ACPs. But I'm just going to, I'll do it. I'm going to shill. Our agent in the swarm with Axelrod and AIXBT. What's it sitting at here? A 900K? About a mil market cap? I don't think I need to say anything. I just like to show it. I'm proud of that. And I also see where I think the ACP agents are going. And I think this is pure speculation. I have no insider info about this at all. But my hunch is you stake the ACP agent tokens to earn the ACP token. Each ACP, I imagine, has its own token. That might not be true. I could be totally wrong. But that's just my guess. And I think you'll stake these tokens to earn ACP tokens. If so, you're looking for lowest market caps, I'm assuming. It's what I would be doing. It's how I trade. We'll see with that. All right, last couple stories in AI. This is actually outside of crypto AI, but Anthropic rolling out voice for Claude, which is awesome. They're getting very close to launching the Alexa update, I believe, too. Remember, Claude is going to be in your little Alexa device, which is cool. That's on the free tier, I believe, in beta. Also opening up web search for the free plan. It was in their paid model, right? The pro subscription. But now in free, you can actually go and search the web, which is super, super helpful. I like that, by the way. Just cool stuff by that. I got to point out like the usefulness of AI. Just every single day, it's more and more and more useful, and everybody's going to find how they use it. What's how does AI make your life easier or better? But this is so cool. What is this called? Sign Gemma? This is some Google model that translates sign language. How cool is that? AI is changing everything here, and it's amazing. Now, Telegram and XAI. Well, Grok is now going to show up in Telegram. How about that? So I wish Grok had a token, man. But Grok now getting, I don't know, more mind share, more users, whatever. And hang on, let me Google something before I mention it. Before I say it and sound stupid, I gotta Google something off screen. Okay. Yep. The TON token, that's a Telegram token, right? Yeah, pretty sure it is. Well, just trying to piece together why we saw that, why we saw TON cooking, right? It was one of our top 5 gainers. Yeah, I mean up 22%. Maybe partially from that announcement, maybe. Good stuff. All right, we'll blitz through some of these other stories. I use Google, cats. I mean, you get AI search results now. Yeah, I'm a boomer. I use Google. Crypto agents, NFT collection, but tied to agents. Really freaking cool. Look, this is not what I thought it would be, as in normal or typical NFT mint. No, instead, you actually place bids. And I don't know if it's the top 10,000 bids get to mint one. And I think to some degree, the higher your bid, the rarer your NFT is going to be. But yes, these are going to be NFTs. Dude, I think you're right. And I think it's like one of the, I don't want to call it anything dirty that I don't know, but I think it's one of the dirtier games in town. I think I do. Anyway, my gut has told me these are going to cook. I don't know if I'm going to bid or wait and play secondary, but just be aware that this is still live. People are bidding on these, I'll say this, great looking NFTs. They kind of remind me of CryptoPunks. They do. I think they're really cool. And I'm all locked up, I think, but I really, really like these. What's up, Q? Yeah, Virtuals is down for maintenance. It's getting brutalized. Yep. You may want to peek at those NFTs and the agents. They might do well. Hyperliquids, AI agent marketplace, Vapor. What? That sounds so familiar. Oh yeah. Actually, I feel like Q put that on my radar a while back. I think is Bookie live now? Like, is this working? And I gotta get back into Virgin. I'm not gonna be sidelined for this whole thing. I think I timed that perfect, guys, didn't I? I think I got out of this. Yeah, I think somewhere right around here. So I'll buy back in and make more token. But all right, let's check Bookie. I'm probably gonna trade Bookie. Oh, gotcha. Okay, not live, not back yet. Okay, well, let's keep marching through. We got plenty of updates. I want to shout out our buddy Jay Squiggle, who, guys, Jay Squiggle comes on the show every Thursday, right? Founder of 8nap, awesome freaking dude, great friend, and had a new art drop this week on his platform with Patrick Amadon. Freaking amazing collection. It's an incredible collection. It really is. They launched a 99 edition piece, and I believe going over the next week they have like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 more different NFTs going for sale. And I don't know if the next groups, if there's going to be higher editions or lower. But the point of what he's doing, you guys know that ACK collection that he loves, and it's like 9 different editions, but there's different sizes. He's kind of replicating that with Patrick Amadon. And so the next pieces that are out, if the first one was 99, maybe that's the smallest one, and the next piece might be 150 edition. And then the next one, maybe 300, right? I'm not totally sure. Or the first one is the biggest and we get all the way down to the end and the last edition's like 10 or 15 editions. Either way, this drop sold out, 99 editions for 0.04 ETH. Absolutely incredible. GG's to him, to both of them, but Patrick and Jay Squiggle. And then Thursday's Jay Squiggle's on the show. So if you're not aware, like if you're here for the AI stuff, just be aware I do cover NFTs and crypto too. And on Thursdays, Jared comes on this show. Rooting for him hard. Here's his platform. Has great artists launching with him, Delta Sauce, and just so many awesome dudes. So looking forward to chatting with him tomorrow. I just had to give him a shout out and say GG's on that. But guys, pay attention. Art's cooking. I do think art season is not fully here, but it is loading, and it's loading hard. I hope you saw these yesterday. These like Pokemon-ish art pieces, right? What are they called? What were these called? And dude, okay, we'll find the name in a second, but you gotta be plugged in. You have to know what's happening here, guys. These minted at 0.019 ETH. These got up to 3 ETH. Guys, these got to 3 ETH on secondary. Bonkers. They're like this cool artistic take on Pokemon. Like they're really freaking cool. And big collectors love it. ETH Art Cabal ate him up. Yeah, that's the artist. He's awesome. And by the way, because Art Cabal found him, his other collection's all sold out. He's got a collection on Bitcoin. Sold out. It's been sitting out there open for a year, sold out. Dude, these got higher than 2 ETH. These got to 3 ETH yesterday. Incredible things. Art season's coming, guys. It's coming. And be aware that art is about to cook on Base because of FX hash. I think it is. Virtuals is building culture on Base. FX Hash has their own community and culture, and they're bringing that. They're already on Base, but now they've got like a thing to actually get it rocking. They got a token. They got this art stuff. Incredible. But you know, again, point is to say that art. Look at it. It's so cool. But just got to say, art is getting ready to explode. It is. You can feel it. Yep. Yeah, virtuals need some help. And I think the Solana stuff is going to really help them a ton. Because I don't know if this is fully on Base. Like Base has been a problem for sure, but also it's the site itself too. Anyway, like shout out to this artist, 8th Project. Again, he had this collection on yeah, hang on, Grand 8. Yeah, this has been out for a year and finally sold out. Really cool. Oh my God, Whirly Girl. Hang on, that's cool. Bunch of bids on FX hash pieces. Low, but a lot of it. Yeah, art season's ramping up. It is. In fact, there's a couple pieces I really want to lock up before art season really hits. But like the new FX hash platform, amazing. What they're about to do here and gamify the art minting process with tokens all over the ecosystem, I think it's brilliant. And they are coming on this show too. So expect that in the next, I would say, couple weeks. But we'll have them on the show to talk about their platform. Incredible things. All right, let me blitz through the rest. Guys, GVC I mentioned hit an all-time high. Shout out to those guys. I freaking love them. Pranksy Bull posting about them. How do you not? GVC are the good guys. And they're doing it the right way, and they're humble, and the art's great, and the community's great. Everything about it's great. And it's just catching everybody's attention. And it just at some point, it just becomes undeniable. And it's at that point now. It becomes undeniable. And at some point it grows, its price is going to match its reputation. It's not there yet. As great as they are right now, I can tell you the price doesn't mirror reputation. Maybe that sounds wrong. Maybe that sounds crazy. They're so young and new, and they haven't done anything yet other than build out the art, build out the project, do the mint. But we know they have those announcements coming. That partnership with Super Rare means something. That whatever they got cooking with Pranksy means something. And now they're just bringing in all these big whale collectors. You're seeing sweeps in here over the past few days. This one's getting primed to hit, 1+, and it's very close now. So keep your eye on GVC. I will tell you, and you guys know I talk about them a lot. I think we're getting close to the last opportunities here, right, to grab them under an ETH. We're getting closer to there. I don't know if that means necessarily it's today or in a week, but we're much closer to that. Again, all-time high now. It's coming. It's coming. So if you wanted to get on board, you hadn't yet, just be aware there's a lot of attention on this thing. Again, whatever Pranksy's doing for the House of Pranksy, doing this with GVC somehow as a partner. We'll keep our eyes on it. Wrecked Drinks has a new drink coming out on OpenSea. Is it called Wrecked Sea? I think Wrecked Sea. Or, oh no, Sea Wrecked, I think it is. Something like that. It's really, really cool. When are these for sale? Snapshots coming. There's a public raffle you can get into here, which is awesome. Let's see. Oh, to be on the allow list, you got to hold 350 million Wrecked coin. Wow. Or you can be an NFT holder. Some of you guys are. And if you purchased any of the previous drinks, you can get on that raffle. Or you'll get on the allow list. Really, dude, how amazing. Want to get OSF back on the show. Really cool. So keep your eyes out for that too. Of course, I'll keep you plugged in. Not all good news out there, right? 90cc announced yesterday they're shutting down. Huge bummer. Like, cool project, cool platform, great merch. The nicest hoodie I have is a CyberKongz hoodie that came from 90cc. It's incredible. I'm glad I got something from that platform before they shut down. Like, shout out to a guy who's building. And again, the great quality. Bummer to see that. Bummer to see them shut down. It makes sense, though. There's not a big audience for this stuff. I thought behind the scenes maybe they tapped into that luxury brand and that it was working. Apparently not. So it's a bummer. But just shout out to G Money for doing this for years and showing that it's possible. Just maybe a little too early. So bummer there. All right, last couple of headlines here. USDC has arrived on Bitcoin. Pretty cool. StarkNet launched a USDC rune. It's 1-1 backed with USDC. Really cool. Stable coins on Bitcoin. It's a good thing. We've got trustless liquidity pools on Bitcoin. This is coming from .swap Nexus. Man, Bitcoin DeFi is about to rock. It's about to absolutely rock. I cannot wait. We'll peek at runes in a second. MetaMask, Solana, two things I didn't think I'd be saying in the same sentence other than never. Well, now, yes, happening. Solana integrated on MetaMask. That is going to feel so weird to go buy some Solana NFTs or trade Solana shitcoins in MetaMask. It doesn't make sense. My brain can't make that make sense, but this is real life. We're doing it. Really cool. All right, now Bitcoin. Bitcoin conference happening today. Yesterday, this is huge, guys. Huge. And I would normally bring this up at the start. I just have to get right to market stuff, right? But Cynthia Loomis speaking at the Bitcoin conference yesterday in Las Vegas. Guys, the Bitcoin Act, the proposal for the U.S. to buy 1 million Bitcoin next week hits the Senate floor. I'm going to tell you, man, my gut is this doesn't pass. It's just my gut instinct. I don't think it's going to pass. It's the FUD from the Genius Act. I know that made it ultimately, but it feels like crypto's gotten very political. And what kind of blow would that be? I want to be prepared for this. What kind of blow would that be if this Bitcoin Act does not pass? And if it ends up looking like it's not even close to passing? Now we'll see what they're proposing as far as how do we buy that Bitcoin. I don't know. We don't know what those details look like, right? So we'll see. I'm hopeful for it. I just don't think this passes so soon. Then again, Bitcoin is just so different from stable coins, whatever else. You have more believers in Bitcoin than you do in, most of the rest of crypto. JD Vance will be speaking today, though, at the Bitcoin conference. Maybe he'll shed some light on that bill. Maybe after today, we'll hear why that could actually pass. But I'd like to hear his thoughts on the future of Bitcoin. Remember, he's a crypto bro. He's got a pudgy penguin, I'm pretty sure, right? He's an NFT guy as well. If you didn't know that, now you know. JD Vance is an NFT guy. So we got the right people in office for us, for our bags. Maybe not the right people for other things, but he's a crypto guy. And then Bill Hines saying that the U.S. is not just going to become a Bitcoin superpower, right? The global superpower, but he wants us to be the crypto capital of the world. And it's what I want. It's what you guys want. And we're on our way, man. We're on our way. SEC is hosting the asset management conference. That is coming up on June 5th. I love these things. I try to catch all these streams. So this is just like the next in their series of these roundtables. Good stuff. June 5th, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We'll certainly be watching that. And finally, if you guys get scamming text messages, right, saying that your Coinbase account has been logged into or password reset request, any of that stuff, please reach out to our bro Marty on X. Send him the numbers. Marty's going to get him disconnected, and in the process, going to fuck with them a bit. So every time I get one of those texts, I send them right to Marty, and he handles it. And dude's a pit bull. So appreciate you, Marty. Yeah, if you get him, seriously, DM Marty on X. There you go. Mike, barely use MetaMask. Just have it as a structure. I don't like to switch chain. So, Mike, they kind of fixed that, I think. I think they fixed it where you don't have to switch chains in the thing. I think it kind of does that on its own, I think. Virtual's back up. Holy shit. Virtual's back up. Let's go see. All right, let's see. I might be buying. Let's see. I want some Bookie. All right. Let's see. A good opportunity if we catch it early, right? All right. All right. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay. Still finalizing. So, okay. My targets. If this token's sitting at like 2 or 3 mil, I'm buying and I'm probably going all in. Probably not all in, but if this is sitting at 2 or 3 mil, I'm going in. If this is sitting at 5 or 6 mil, I'm probably going in. If this is like 8, 9, 10 mil, I don't think I'm touching yet. It's going to be ridiculous as far as slippage and gas and all that. Let me kill some tabs just to make this easier. Telling you boys though, Solace coming in an hour. That's a must play, and asynchronous, I believe, is a must play. I've got way too many fucking tabs open. All right, hang on. Get my bookmarks done too. Right, I keep all this for newsletter stuff, which went out yesterday. Hope you guys enjoyed. Boom. All right, done. Kill more. Come on, go, go, go. Grayscale, we're keeping that too. All right. Boom, gone. All right. Oh shit, it's live. It's at a fucking 20 set. Oh god damn, dude. It's Virgen. Oh, I thought that was Bookie. Dude, I thought Bookie was at 27 mil. Well, let's get some predictions here. Okay, so Marty, here's what you're doing. You got the Bookie presale. You don't have to do shit. You do have to claim the tokens, right? You got to claim them, but there's no rush to claim them. You're basically going to decide if you want to also trade it, because if you want to trade it, first off, if you sell, Marty, if you sell those presale tokens, you're on timeout for 10 days. You won't earn points for 10 days. You'll earn some, but not a lot. So, like, ideally, you don't really want to sell your presale tokens. You can. If you're up, especially, you can. And you will be up. But yeah. What you want to do, or what I'm going to do, is just buy the token. I'm going to buy Bookie at the right price, right? And I'll sell that. You don't get penalized if you're selling the tokens you buy after the fact, right? Unless you dip below your pre-sale balance. Wait. What? Remember when you thought using 3 as E was dumb and GIF was mad? What does that mean? What does that mean, sir? So Bookie, you're thinking 3, so like 3.5 mil? Oh. I got you now. Yeah, the naming. Look, it's probably not great for SEO, right? There's I remember, okay, before I knew you, Marty, I remember when you'd pop in that show and there would just be this headbutting and I couldn't tell if it was a joke or not. And like it is sometimes, it's playful. and then there was just those times where it's like it suddenly wasn't. I don't know. It's fucking funny though. I'll tell you that. I miss those days. Man, I want this token. I really want this one. So yeah, at 3.5 mil, I'm a buyer. 3.5 mil market cap, I'm buying. Okay. Let's go, bro. Well, only thing keeping me from only thing that's going to have me hesitating a bit is I want to buy more fuck coin. You guys, I don't know if you all know how bullish I am. Oh, dude, young sugarcoats from Mana. Okay, good shit. Good to see you, man. I'm so fucking bullish on fuck coin. I think that's going to end up being one of the top memes here. I do. By the way, Nick is right about this. Nick said he thinks that Virtuals created a bear-proof launchpad. He did. We launched in a bear market. Okay, I know it's a bull market, but we launched in a period where no AI coins were cooking, right? It was dead. Meme coins were dead. We launched our coin, again, at 100-something K market cap. Doesn't take anything for you to be up in that. It is bear-proof. Now, all that's going to matter is, do people want AI tokens or not? If people don't want tokens, then it's not going to work. If in a bear market, here and there, you got some agents that are launching that people want, it works. Yeah. What's happening here is very unique. This has got to be live soon, like any moment. By the way, it looks like Virtuals is coming up like maybe a referral system. So be aware of that. Probably giving you points for referring people. Good stuff. I'm going to play with Arbus here in a little bit, see if I can get some good insights from that. Arbus, like Arbus. I would really like this to go live. And wait, Vader's on a space. Oh, with Bookie. You know what? I'm going to let that play here. We're going to tune in and listen to Bookie with Vader. Okay, you guys can hear that, right? Is it worth it to stake the agents for Virgin points? Yeah, it does matter. And if you're going to stake an agent for points, I think the Vader token's great to stake because they get more points than most. Also, like our agent, same thing. I think the tokens, the agents that launch with Vader get more points. You can buy these on Uniswap as well. So Uniswap works. But yes, stake agents for points. And it's just to find a nice mix of both, right? Staking virtual gets you airdrop after airdrop after airdrop, plus points. 20% of points go to virtual stakers. Yeah, trading gets you the most. But I do think staking is, I think it moves the needle too. So I'll show my points breakdown again because that's probably helpful. Okay. So here's my breakdown here. Yeah, Bookie crash base, crazy stuff. Again, as I'm spending points, the more I'm spending, the more I'm accruing. But yeah, look at this, 6,000 points yesterday. But for yapping, I didn't tweet yesterday. Something doesn't make sense. Unless I just don't remember. But look at my timeline yesterday. I mean, I guess this might count, right? This probably counts. So I get like 9, 8 likes on that. Asynchronous mentioned me because they were so fucking cool making a clip out of the show. So maybe it's because of these. Maybe I'm getting it just from retweeting these things. Maybe it's from this tweet that was a couple days ago, just announcing show schedule. I will be tweeting a lot more. It's why I'm doing one show a day now. It's to tweet more. I want some points. Okay, I'm listening to Vader. When they go live, I'm going to switch it to that. Yeah, something doesn't make sense. I kind of wonder if they're like a day behind or a couple days behind. I don't think it's super current.
Bookie founding team. I know they finalized their launch like an hour ago, but the token is still on live. So
For what it's worth, though, for Q, I staked $13 worth of Vader, and I got a $200 airdrop of Virgen. Actually, at today's price, that would be more like $600 of Virgin.
now?
So
Yeah, I
heads
can
up
hear you
about
now.
that.
Okay, perfect. How should I refer you?
Just call me CB.
Okay, cool. Thanks for joining, CB. Wanna introduce yourself and your background and what you guys are building?
Sure, no problem. I'm CB. I'm one of the co-founders of Bankroll, now transitioning to Bookie. My background is within finance.
I do want to show this too. You probably lost the spaces, right? And I'll bring that back. But I do want to show GPTWAI announced a longer lockup period, and you see what that did for their token. Basically pushed it to all-time high. And when we start talking about risk, right? What's the downside? What's the risk? It's something like this. People are in it for the points farming, right? You get a diamond hand bonus while the lock is on it. This is not, look, man, I don't think this is a super quality agent product, whatever. I question quite a few things about that project and the fact that they have a token already that hasn't done well. So now they got a token at a 2.7 mil market cap. You better believe when that lockup ends, this comes crashing to nothing. So
and the vast amount of data that was being printed each and every single second on chain could unlock new products that are just not possible in the traditional world. So we did that. Unfortunately, the space, we were too early. The space, I don't even think now is truly ready for anonymized, under collateralized credit, but we learned a bunch and then ultimately repackaged a lot of these learnings and risk parameters into what we're building now with Bookie. So that's a little bit of a high level overview, kind of my background, and glossing over, obviously, avid sports bettor, and this pain point is particularly big in my heart.
bullish on Fuckcoin, like
You were working on
giga
under
bullish.
collateralized credit. Was this on DeFi or TradFi?
DeFi.
Cool. I guess like in DeFi, we have stuff like Aave, which is over collateralized credit. I put in, say, $100 worth ETH as collateral, and against that, I can borrow $80 worth USDC, but I cannot just borrow $80 worth USDC without giving anything in collateral. And I guess you guys were trying to solve that within some credit scoring on chain scoring, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So we were again, to be able to say the most we ever got to was I believe it was 75% under collateralized. So if you give me $75 in collateral,
What's
I'll
up,
give you
man?
a
Great to see you.
$100 loan. And we were judging that based upon a user's on-chain history. Again, like, have they connected with any fraudulent addresses that are known to be nefarious, scamming, phishing? Have they borrowed previously before? Who are they connected with? What's
Mike,
their
I stake,
wallet balance?
and I just assume
have
it's
they
gone.
kept that
I'm not
over
counting
30,
it as
60,
value
90,
anywhere.
120
Gone.
days? So
Points farm.
again,
Never see it again.
my background was in banking. I didn't just like wake up and like, oh, I think I'll do under collateralized credit today. Like, no, this is 100% within my background before I even started running the quant hedge fund. But again, it was just too soon. And I think reputation systems, like what Virtuals is building, is actually potentially the closest thing that could maybe usher it in at a later date. I think still there has to be some sort of real world kind of KYC or bite, so to speak, for users that just want to do civil borrowing. But yeah, we were at the forefront of that. And again, I think that transitions nicely to what we're doing with Bookie, where we're stepping out in the forefront, trying to be the first to grasp, leveraging a lot of these new and burgeoning technologies to take big swings. And sports betting, obviously, it's a different domain. It's very close to my heart and what I do personally, but it's very similar to what we were doing previously. You've got a lot of risk that needs to be analyzed in milliseconds. And then ultimately, you need to make a decision on it with some type of quantitative backing so that you don't go belly up. Same exact principles. It's just a different.
That's it, dude. Parking that
arena,
money,
so to
and
speak.
you never know if just one of those,
Cool.
you
And
got
what
into the
went
200K
wrong
market
with
cap,
that
becomes
business?
magic
Why
and
do you
hits
think it's
100
gonna work
mil,
out?
dude. You're up.
So we
You
launched
did one all
at
of a sudden.
the
It's
literally
just
at the
such a
beginning of
cool
the bear market in
dice roll.
2022. So
One
as
of
you
them
can
will play out that
imagine,
way.
not much demand for under collateralized credit whenever prices are in a tailspin. So in bull markets, everybody wants to lever up. In bear markets, everyone wants to preserve what they've got and not necessarily lever up. So that's one component of it. The second component is, quite frankly, I don't think we did a good job of being able to understand how users in this particular market want to lever up. So we looked at what my experience was in the real world and said, hey, yeah, this makes perfect sense. Of course, they're going to want it in this space. But that's not true at all. Like, people that are taking on leverage in crypto, even to this day, want it specifically to speculate. So a 2x, 5x, 10x leverage, whatever it may be, you can get all of that in a margin account type perspective, which Hyperliquid is obviously doing amazing with. That doesn't create systemic and insolvency risk for the underlying protocol, because you can just quarantine off that risk into an isolated pool and then liquidate the collateral the moment that it hits your trigger threshold. So I think it's a 50-50 of bad timing, but also the founders, myself included, could have done a better job. But that's just part of the entrepreneurial course. You have to take all of these things and then ultimately wrap those hard lessons into what you build in the future. So yeah. And again, I mentioned at the beginning, I think the timing was incorrect. We took a big swing, and that big swing didn't pay out. The market now is not even ready for what we were building. So yeah, I don't think that's the case with Bookie, but only time will tell.
Got it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that makes sense because there were a lot of similar under collateralized lending platforms raising capital, and most of them actually pivoted. And so, for that business, you were one of the co-founders, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
I gotta tell you, this something about the site's kind of broken, right? I did not buy any Bookie, and it's showing me I have Bookie. And a minute ago, it showed me I have Robot, and I don't have any Robot. And it also showed me I had some Magnus. I didn't have any Magnus. Here's GPTW. I don't own any of this. It keeps every time I refresh this, it's showing me other tokens that I have that I do not own. This is accurate. It's just that one. Everything else I have is staked. That's what I really own. It's not much. That's all I have staked. I have $150 worth of tokens staked, and when I staked them, they were lower. But if I go to Genesis, let's see. Here we go. It shows I have Bookie. Look at all this. It shows I have all these tokens, and I don't have Nancy. I don't have Robot. I don't have Bookie. I don't have Magnus. I don't have Mellow. I don't have any of those tokens, but it keeps showing me I do. Analyst, I don't have any. So site's a little buggy right now.
Background for the good, bad, and the ugly of the space, which ultimately you need to take those experiences and move them forward to the next thing that is being built, which is Bookie.
Okay, cool. So just to clarify, late 2021, early 2022, you raised capital from institutional investors for the under collateralized DeFi lending platform,
Correct.
and you launched a token, and then you merged with, and you were part of one of the co-founders of this project, and then you guys merged with another project. I guess the project might have a token or not have a token, and then that turned out to be what Guru is today, right? The Guru token, which is around like 2-3 million FTV.
Yeah, so we launched or we merged with Gora. It wasn't like we merged with this mysterious entity that emerged to be Gora. So they were Gora Network at that particular time, and we were looking to transition
Wow.
our
Nick has
platform from
15 million
doing under
points.
collateralized lending, because as you correctly mentioned, we were doing a
These guys,
non-lending for retail, so it was
man,
very different. There's no one else doing that to what you're talking about with like Maple,
these boys
Clearpool,
are eating.
TrueFi, like a lot of those other under collateralized lending platforms at that time. They were just lending to market makers and hedge funds to give them essentially 0% collateral that ultimately went tits up whenever the market started to go sideways. That's the dumbest way to do lending, in my opinion. So we were never interested in that. But we merged with Gora because we were moving away from under collateralized lending and wanted to explore different ways for our credit scoring system.
Hey, what's up,
not
Mellow
only
AI?
to
I hope they're
help
watching.
other platforms
I do like
and
them.
offer more aggressive LTVs, but also
Let's get them on the
reward
show.
their users maybe in more specific ways based upon their history. Find your target users and give them the maximum.
Yeah, Mellow, if you're watching, hit me up. Like DM.
Machine
Let's
gunning
get you
out
on.
there. However, we wanted to do that through a Web3 experience and Oracle. We didn't have
Dude, the
the
guys,
capital
the
nor the
guys
time
that were here
to really
early
build that
are
out. Gora had
eating.
both.
We're talking
So,
tens of
and they were
thousands of
also
dollars in
looking
plays
for
every day, I
an
imagine.
expansion plan from Algorand, because they launched on Algorand, took a big bet again back in 2021, which ultimately didn't pay off with how the ecosystem panned out. So they were looking for a way to expand to different ecosystems like Base, like Solana, like Ethereum. So we merged together to go and explore some of these different areas as well. So that is a little bit of the genesis story of how Rossi and Gora became one and became merged.
Got it. And can you walk us through how you ended up leaving Guru and decided to launch?
So I'm over on
Bookie?
another tab refreshing Bookie.
Yeah,
As soon as it
so
goes live, I'm going to
that's
switch to that. Just a
it's
heads
a
up.
great question. So I've always been a avid sports bettor, and it just happened that Abdul, the founder of Gora, was also a sports bettor. So we kind of hit it off in that particular regard. But he had mentioned that at the beginning, even before they had raised money for Gora, the original concept was to be an on-chain sports oracle that could kind of power what some of these prediction markets came to be before they were actually that. Ultimately, he went into a general purpose oracle solution on Algorand that was seemed to be a better option at that particular time. But he kind of dusted off those old papers and said, hey, why don't you take a look at this? I think there's still something there with the technology we've built for sports oracles. And furthermore, we had this Web2 app that was essentially offering analytics like Picket, if you're familiar, for users to be able to track their sports bets across different platforms, because those traditional sports books closely guard that information. And that sort of first conversation ultimately is what launched into Bankrolled. So that was over 9 months ago, and we took a variety of different pivots where some of our hypotheses played out, some of them did not, and we adjusted accordingly based upon users' feedback. So one of the first ports of call was this analytics app. We missed that boat. That was back in 2021, 2022. Picket owns that market now. So we were looking for the next thing to sort of to move into. And it was like, okay, well, what about this sports predict to earn? And we did that, and that actually worked really well, kind of like the Fliff model, if you're familiar. So we took a bunch of different micro pivots, which ultimately has led us to our end destination right now with Bookie being an agentic sports book. But happy to double click on any of those individual topics, which I'm sure you'll want to.
Yeah, sure. I guess so. Just to summarize my understanding, Abdul, who is the founder of Guru, and Guru is the company that kind of you merged with, or let's say, I don't know if acquired would be the right word, or merge. What would you
It's
say?
a merge. Yeah, merge
Okay.
is fine.
So, company where you're the founder merged with Gora, whose founder is Abdul, and you guys have been operating Gora for a while, and then like you two kind of have been brainstorming about I guess like a new idea, this sports betting idea, my like initial reaction is, why not pivot Guru into doing this business rather than launching a new project?
Because it's entirely separate. That's like saying, we give out loans, so but like car sales are hot, so let's go into car sales. It just doesn't work like that. I know there's a lot of flexibility within crypto to be able to reinvent yourself in a lot of ways, but at the end of the day, it comes down to domain expertise and also funds available to be able to pursue those different areas of expertise as well. So Gora has clients existingly on Algorand and some of the different chains that they're looking to expand to, and it is 100% an Oracle solution. Now it is going to like sunset all of that to be a sports predict to earn.
I'm gonna step away for
app,
just a minute.
and then ultimately a Web2 app, and then into an agentic sports book. So in theory, it all sounds great. And if we had a magic pot of gold that was just like a never-ending money tree in the backyard, I would just go back, and then of course we can explore all white space possible. And I would just go back and grab money off the tree whenever we needed to fund those different experiments. But that just doesn't work like that in the real world, especially not a project that has been around since 2022. So ultimately, I had to make the decision to step back from Gora, to resign and focus on this project 100% full time, which was no guarantee that there was even any demand for what we were building. But I thought so highly of it that I had to go 100% and experiment. And that's exactly what you do as a founder. You take a big risk. You go out, you talk to some of your users, you put a product in front of them, and they give you feedback on it, either directly or indirectly by not using it. And then we've done that for month after month after month, and ultimately got us to where we're at with the agentic sports book as well.
Okay. I guess like, is Gora generating any revenue right now?
They're generating a little bit of revenue, but at the end of the day, I would really prefer to keep the conversation around Bookie. Like Gora is great. They're an affiliate partner, they're cousins, so to speak, but we are using their technology, their Oracle technology for the platform. And some devs that were previously working for Gora, I have now poached them for Bookie. And that is where the story like kind of ends. So like I get, based upon the comments you made yesterday on X around Gora and how that can different flags and whatever it may be, but I would really just prefer if we keep the conversation on Bookie, because that is really the biggest thing that like we're pushing forward. And again, Gora are cousins. They are not sort of like sisters or whatever it may be that are actively managing Bookie right now.
Okay, sure. But like the reason why we're having this space is mainly having more transparency and answering the questions, right? So the reason why I asked about Gora is mainly because you mentioned that like Gora has clients and other stuff, which is the reason you didn't want to pivot Gora. So that was the main reason, actually.
For sure. So they have clients, but also like there's only a finite amount of capital as well. So again, whenever you're building an actual project that has tech behind it, and you have to sustain and maintain and then deliver and service clients, and then if you want to continue to grow mindshare to hopefully stand out in this sea tokens that are on Algorand as well, which there's not much clout, there's not much going on over that ecosystem. You have to get quite creative, but at the end of the day, it is going to hamstring your capital resources tremendously. Again, this isn't something that we just launched yesterday in our backyard where we were like, yeah, let's do oracles on Algorand. This is a project that Abdul built back in 2021, raised funds for in 2022, and has been putting his blood, sweat, and tears into for the last almost 3.5 years to try to get this to work. At the end of the day, he made a bet on the Algorand ecosystem that didn't pay off. Had he made a bet on the Solana ecosystem, we're probably having a different conversation right now. And Gora becomes an amazing asset to Bookie's narrative versus being used in a negative light, so to speak. So again, it's not just about having users to service them, but it is also about the capital that is going to be required to spin up an entirely new project, an entirely new sector that is going to suck money from Gora. So that's not prudent, especially with a project as mature as Gora. So ultimately, the decision had to be made, kind of like Tom Cruise in Jerry Maguire, where I had to step out and see who was going to come with me, knowing that if we hit not product market fit, because it's way too early to say that, but if we hit enough positive milestones of feedback with users, we could go back to Gora and say, hey, we think we have something here. We would like to license your technology, given we're kind of cousins in that regard. And that's pretty much what happened, and pretty much the extent of the relationship or the intersection of Gora between Bookie as well.
Okay. So you resigned from Gora and you are a solo founder of Bookie, right?
Yes.
And is are you able to share the ownership percentage within you and others?
I
Is
like
it
Gator
100% owned by
I
you,
like
kind
it.
of the team token allocation?
No, the team token allocation is split up based upon the user, or I'm sorry, the members that we have. So we've got 2 other individuals working for us right now, and then we also have a handful of community mods there too. But obviously, as the founder, majority of the lion's share will go my side.
Okay. How big is your team?
3 full-time.
And they're all engineers, I guess?
Yes.
Okay. And would you be able to kind of dive deep more into what the problem that Bookie is trying to solve?
I would love to. So I don't know if anyone on the call has any sort of background within sports betting or even predictions, but one of the main issues that you see is sports books punish users for being accurate. And it doesn't need to be like, oh, I've been betting and killing it for the past 2, 3, 5 years. If you just have a string of games, which is statistically possible, it's going to happen over time. If you have a string of games that maybe you hit, they will proactively limit you and or ban you. So meaning if you're betting $20 or $50 or whatever it may be, now you're only able to bet $1 or 50 cents or just an outright ban. You can no longer bet on that particular traditional.
You guys want to keep listening to this,
So
right?
the reason why
I
they
assume
do
so.
that
I
is
do.
because the economics behind it prohibit them. They have a very small tolerance for user accuracy, or else they quickly go into the red. They can sustain approximately 30 to 40% in user accuracy, depending upon the odds that they're giving on average. And the reason for that is because of the massive operational costs that they have to be able to run these huge sports books. So you've got 90-person trading desk, you've got different data feeds, you've got different risk managers that you've got to talk and look through and do these other things for all these different adjacent markets. And that doesn't even include the marketing promotion and all the mind share. So you'll see tons of ads being ran on television and so on and so forth. So their business practice inherently has to be predatory because of the cost to run said book. It makes sense because they generate a bunch of revenue. However, what if you were able to remove all those costs through agents, or a big chunk of those costs through agents? So instead of having a trading or a liquidity manager or tons of risk managers or different data feeds, all of those are just handled by agents. You, at that point, you have the ability to cut out greater than 50% of the costs that are kind of inherent with this particular model. And in that case, you no longer have to be predatory towards your users. You can sustain a higher accuracy rate. You can give a little bit better odds, and you no longer have to limit
It's live.
or ban anyone. So that is at the
Bookie's
core
live.
why we built Bookie and what we are
8.2
building
mil market
Bookie
cap.
to solve. It is to remove
Okay, I think I sit
that
out for now. I'm going to switch
predatory
real quick.
practice
Okay, 8.2. I wonder how people get so quick in there. I think I know. I don't trade this yet. I'd like to see this at like again, 5-ish mil. Wow.
Yeah, it would be great to like uh, maybe explain it with an example.
Sure. So what particular example do you want me to double click into? I
You
think
know, yeah,
good.
yeah. You know, we were talking about the accuracy and how it could like allow operators to offer better pricing for their users.
Hmm.
Like, I'm trying to understand why they're offering worse pricing and how your solution can help with that.
Yeah. So it's just money. So let's break it down like this. Again, I apologize if I have to take people to an accounting 101 class right now. But again, this is my background as a reform banker. So apologies. So if you've got 100, let's just say we've got $100 in revenue and we've got $30 of
9 mil.
marketing costs and then $50 of human costs to be able to do our business. In this case, allow bets, blah, blah, blah. So we got $80 of costs. That means $20 is dropping down to the bottom line. So for every bet that is successful or better odds that are given. So I give you a 2-to-1, meaning for every dollar you bet, you win $2. So if I give you 3-to-1 instead of 2-to-1, now my risk has just gone up by 50%. So that $3 win is going to eat into the profit that goes to my bottom line. So that is one of the reasons why they offer worse odds and can sustain less accuracy as well. So for users that start being accurate, the best way to manage risk is to simply say, okay, if you're going to be right, you're going to be right, but it's going to be on a very small amount of money. So a 2-to-1 win on $1 is a lot different than on $100 or $1,000. So that is one example kind of like the mechanics, the why behind it. The next one is Bookie. So you've got $100 in revenue, and maybe you've got
So
$20
at this
in
10 mil market cap,
marketing
guys are up
costs, and
40x
maybe
from
that
that
can include
pre-sale. So
token
I
rewards
am
and mind
expecting
share
guys
and
to
all
take
these other
profits. Hanging
newfound
over,
things.
I'll share real quick. 9.7 mil. If this can pull back to 6, even anywhere here, 6.5, anywhere around there, I probably am going to try to get in. Lower, great, but there's got to be some profit taking here. Unless they had the virtual partnership. There you go, Dropking. Yeah, if they had the virtual partnership or Vader doing an airdrop or, something that got them a little like, more time. But keep in mind, they're in an ACP. They're going to be in a swarm with Billy Betts. And I just think Billy's like the greatest. So, um, yeah, we'll see. But this, people like this one.
Because people don't feel like it's an adversarial cat and
Gravity
mouse
top
game.
blast, and I love it.
And also, that is how we develop loyalty and attract new customers. So, customer acquisition is by having those better odds to really solve that cold start issue and also build that loyalty over the long term. So, even if we're not getting $70 dropping to the bottom line, even if it's $50, that is still $30 over what the traditional sports books are going to be able to take in. And it's solely because of the agentic infrastructure cutting out that massive chunk of costs in the middle. I hope that all makes sense with accounting 101 right
I
there.
didn't get the Bookie pre-sale,
Yeah,
so no.
definitely. So basically, what you're saying is
But the
that
site is goofed.
with your agentic infrastructure, which, if I'm not wrong, it's basically machine learning models that
10.2
can.
mil.
Not necessarily true. So Like these are also LLMs as well, being able to perform these functions autonomously. So looking at games that are available, then being able to spin up that market, the market creation agent,
And I'm probably
the
going to trade this on
liquidity manager
Uniswap,
agent, the
not
settlement agent.
not
These are
on
all
virtual.
LLMs that are being able to look at those, look at the information that is being printed, and then spin up these actions to support them. Games in this particular case, autonomously, including the odds that go along with that. The ML models of risks, that is one of the tools that we are providing our risk manager agent to ultimately manage the solvency of the platform. So looking, again, a simple example is it could look at Vader betting on Bookie, and he wants to bet a super long shot, 10 to 1. Well, a $10 bet of that has a heck of a smaller impact than if Vader's coming in and wants to throw around $1,000 or $5,000, at which case that is going to dramatically change the risk parameters that the agent is looking at and need to influence different ways to manage the solvency of that particular pool. So again, I hope that all makes sense. So there is a machine learning risk component of it, but it's not how you were kind of describing it. That is just one of the tools that ultimately the risk manager agent, or LLM, utilizes whenever it is managing solvency across the entire book.
The end product is that you're basically out. This is like.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you that well. Can you step into that?
Sure. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Okay,
Thank
perfect. The end product is that it's a consumer app, consumer sports betting app that will allow end users to bet on sports. But within the back end, with your agentic infrastructure plus better machine learning prediction models, you're able to basically offer these services at a much, much lower cost. So basically, either achieving higher margins or better bets quotes for the end users, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. How close are you to launching a prototype or the product?
We launched testnet yesterday. So users can go to app.bookieai.xyz and play around with it. So if you want to connect your own wallet, you can do that. However, you'll need to acquire some base testnet Ethereum to be able to make those bets.
So dropped to like 8.5 mil market cap, now
click
back
on
up
our
to
managed
10.
account solutions,
I'm
and
keeping an
we'll
eye.
spin
Again,
up
I am
we'll
expecting
spin up an
profit take, and
address
I am
that is
hoping this
already
dips into
populated
the
with a
6
little bit
bill
of
range, and
testnet
I'd
ETH
probably
for you
buy
to
there.
go and place some bets.
But keeping
so
an eye on
it's
it.
very limited at this point. We're covering soccer, a little bit of basketball. We're going to be adding in some baseball there as well. In the full version, we'll have a bunch of different games and everything. But the testnet is live. It's been live for over 24 hours now. So I would encourage anyone that hasn't gone there to go there, check it out, and also provide feedback as well. Always open to hearing that. I would say from there, depending upon what breaks, what doesn't, feedback from users, we are around 2 to 3 weeks away from our prod launch. So pretty much everything is built. Now we are just really making sure that everything is running as expected before we ultimately turn it loose and users can start playing around with real capital. So yeah, testnet's there. Managed accounts, again, we were looking to, the original vision was to have a very abstracted perspective. So users wouldn't know necessarily that they're interacting with blockchain unless they absolutely wanted to. So that's kind of where the managed account idea came from. But it's very easy for the testnet that rather than unless someone has testnet ETH just lying around. So it's probably the best way for people to interact with the app.
So my understanding, actually, there are a couple of questions on the comments, and I heard from others.
Just going to share this real quick. I'll switch right back to Spaces. But yeah, 9.8 mil market cap.
Tracy, my understanding based on this conversation is Bookie really is more similar to a polling market, a market where end users can bet, can actually kind of bid on sports betting, whereas A Billy is an agent that is actually betting itself on these markets, and Tracy is a bit more like a companion on sports betting. Would you say that that's an accurate observation?
Yeah, I don't want to. Yes. So there's two things there. First, to the question at hand, 100%. Like, Bookie is actually supposed to be a part of the ACP betting cluster that Virtuals wants to launch. It like so Tracy will be one of those commentary components, specifically on NFL commentary, and any other type of agents that have any data or analytics that is pertinent to sports betting, whether it's baseball, whatnot. They ultimately will kind of route that, or it can be taken into consideration from Billy Betts. Billy Betts can be the orchestrator of those particular bets, either for itself because it's an autonomous agent, or for some of the new products that they're looking to push out, where it can route some of those trades for users that are saying, hey, give me the best odds or the best ROI based upon, for baseball today. All of that can be routed then through our sports book. So it is very symbiotic. It is not competitive in that particular regard. The second component is we're just a little bit different than Polymarket. Polymarket is a betting exchange, and they don't adjust the odds. The trading of the shares ultimately adjusts the odds there. So they just spin up a pool. They've got human interactions. Maybe even sometimes there needs to be a vote for which particular markets are going to be spun up. So they're just an exchange. Ultimately, we are running the book there as well. So we can set those odds, we can adjust them. That is how it also allows us to not ban or limit anyone there. So it's a minor nuance, but a nuance nonetheless that I just wanted to briefly touch on. But the core point is Billy is symbiotic, so is Tracy, and we'll all kind of be flowing together within this ACP betting cluster that Virtuals will eventually release. And then as more agents enter that particular market, especially as we enter back into more popular betting season at the beginning of September and so on, I suspect we'll see a lot more agents popping up at that particular time and creating a pretty interesting but also fun ecosystem there as well.
Got it. Thanks for clarifying that. One question I have is around, like, what if a couple of more startups launch something similar, a user-facing sports betting app? What do you think what would be your unique kind of selling point? Would it be the infra? Would it be the distribution? And if infra, what specific part of the infra?
So what would be the moat, so to speak?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a great question.
While he's answering that, I'll switch back to the chart. Again, solid. It's doing, I think, better than I was expecting. I wonder if people hear a professional sounding dude and they're like, well, fucking hey, that's something to bet in. There's so many people in the token too, and probably has a lot more to do with that. Probably a lot of participants in this maybe left fewer on the outside, and the guys who are in are not selling, right? They're not taking that penalty. I thought we might see some profit taken here again of 40x. But I don't know. I don't know. And we have to always keep recalibrating here too, right? If there's more people in and people are feeling the upside on this stuff, we recalibrate where the solid agent launches instead of being that, I've got these two ranges, right? The bottom to mid tier are these 2 to 3 mil market caps, and then the good ones were these 5 to 10. But I wonder if we're recalibrating where there's that mid tier are now going to start living in this 8, 9, 10 range, and if the really good ones are about to start living at out of the gate 13, 15, 17 mil, so, right, something like that. And so we'll watch. This one's looking pretty damn good. And what are we now? 10 mil market cap. We might not see 6 mil. Might not see it. Yeah, you drop king, you're plugged in. You feel like we might be seeing a little bit of a change here. I would have not expected this to be a 10 mil. Like, no, there's no partnership. This is not a, Virtual's partner. Virtuals didn't buy token and drop it. So this is, very much just, I don't want to say an average drop here. This is a Virtuals hackathon finisher. It's going to be an ACP, but this is interesting. Attaboy. Marty, what did you buy this one? You bought some Bookie? Nailed it, cats.
Cryptos, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. My previous experience was within banking, so commercial and also retail credit as well, not a long short hedge fund.
Okay, got it. Got it. My last question is around licenses. Do you need any licenses or comply with any regulations to run this business?
Yes, we will eventually for sure. That's also again one of the reasons why we've chosen to kind of take the Oz approach behind the curtain for the time being, because we want to run very quickly, get a lot of feedback from the market, because ultimately that is what is going to determine whether or not Bookie is a success. It's not me up here pontificating about risk models. It's about building a product that users actually want and will play with and engage with each and every single day. So we want to be very quick. However, being very quick and regulations typically don't go hand in hand. But ultimately, we are in the process of completing that regulatory compliance international standards. Whenever that becomes pertinent to share more information on that front, we'll definitely do that. But that is one of the biggest reasons why myself and the team has chosen to kind of stay behind the curtain for the time being.
Okay, cool. Thank you for the answers. Let me go through some of the questions in the comments and then have others join to ask their questions. So there's one question around why you chose Base over Solana.
I would say the ecosystem, like the agentic ecosystem, is actually better on Base in my particular instance. And also Virtual's Genesis platform really kind of ensures that that lead is going to stay there for the foreseeable future. Like we want to be kind of like that heartbeat of the ACP betting cluster. So we imagine that more and more agents are going to pop up, especially as sports season kicks back into high gear over the coming months, early September, etc. So we want to be where the action is at. And also we were builders on the Ethereum ecosystem as well previously. So that's just really where our bread and butter is. And we think Base gives us the best of both worlds, although Solana is obviously amazing as well. And that is actually one of the target chains that we will be investigating in the future for potential expansion as well.
Okay. And there's a question around your roadmap.
Shoot. Is there a specific question, or they just want to know the roadmap?
Just a general roadmap.
Yeah, no problem. So I would say anyone that really wants to dive more deeply into the roadmap, it's on our project details page, which doesn't appear to be loading at the moment. Another awesome bug that we're seeing with virtuals at the moment. But whenever that gets sorted, if you go to the project details, you'll see a very detailed breakdown of what our roadmap looks like. So what I'll say is for the next month or two looking forward, we're already in testnet. We're going to continue to run testnet for the next 1 or 2 weeks. If everything goes well, then we're going to look to push to production after.
Man, I'm watching the chart like a hawk.
And then evaluate and go from there. If all goes well there, we'll also do a Farcaster launch for the production mainnet as well to be fully mobile compatible. Right now, the website is mobile optimized, but to be able to have that first touch pace with Farcaster, like truly a mobile first experience, and also tapping into another pretty large ecosystem within Base. That is going to be, those three pieces are the first ones on the roadmap. And then from there, we'll just knock out furthermore, milestones based upon what we have set forth. But everything is rooted in getting feedback from the market and from users. So things could go fast.
I'll tell you what, Q. Like virtual agent launches, the token launches do look a little different, and it's just so interesting. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. I don't know if it's totally kosher. It might be. I think it is. Fuck, dude. I don't know. The chart does always look weird to me, but that doesn't mean bad. It's just interesting when you got most people locking up their token that are not selling it. But who is selling it and then who's buying it, especially at this level? It kind of looks weird. It does. Did we lose audio?
Yeah, I think
No.
he might not be online. Okay, if there aren't any other questions, thanks for joining and answering all our questions. Anything you want to share before we end the spaces with the audience?
I would just say the biggest thing I want to share is just go to app.bookieai.xyz and test
Great
it out.
point,
Get a
Cap.
test
It's a
net.
really, really great point.
If you know
If we're
anyone
not seeing a
else
major
that
dump right
is
now,
really
it does seem like there's
interested in
issues
sports
claiming,
betting,
and
it's really
some people just
talented,
haven't gotten around to it, and there's
refer
just some
that
funny
there
stuff
as
on the
well. We'll
site. So it
definitely
could just be
continue
most
to
people don't have it in their hands yet.
craft out
When they get it, again, they can
additional
lock in
rewards and
a
incentive systems to be
40x.
able to
A
promote
40x.
these types of
You better
referral
believe some people are
programs.
going
But
to
I
take
guess at
profits
this
here.
point, it's really
So again, still
grassroots and about
myself
sharing something
targeting
that hopefully people are
6
passionate
mil,
about and
7 mil, somewhere
solving
there.
a problem
Somewhere in
for
that
users.
ballpark.
So
I
yeah,
think it
just
settles around there
go
too.
to
This is not a 2 or 3 mil
app.bookieai.xyz. Check out
market cap
testnet,
coin.
and
I'm
then
not sure it's a
also
10 mil. Again, if
please
it's
feel
10
free
mil, it
to
means we're a
provide
little
feedback,
different phase,
comment
which is
on
good.
posts within
But
X. You
yeah,
can
I'm
DM
thinking
us
5, 6,
whenever we
7
get our
mil,
support channel
somewhere around there where it kind of
back up
settles.
and
Makes
running.
sense.
We're being diluted by a bunch of scammers and spammers right now with the launch, trying to punch in an artificial contract address. So once we get that sorted, all feedback is always welcome. Again, my biggest thing is ensuring that users absolutely are loving what we're building. So yeah, that's the biggest call to action. And I appreciate you having us on, Vader, and asking some of these questions. But yeah, I appreciate it. It was good times, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to have discourse back and forth. And also, again, if you see things that you think could be better, feedback, whether it's project, token, product, most importantly, feel free to always promote those out. Much appreciated.
Awesome, Bookie. Thanks for joining, and congrats again on launching your token today, and welcome to the virtual ecosystem. Everyone, thanks for listening. See you on another Spaces.
All right, good spaces, like super informative. It's good to hear that stuff. Doing a similar thing, just trying to show people, a little behind the scenes, like who's the person and the team behind the products and what's the vision and goal, and help you avoid rugs, help you make these bets. Since we're locking up tokens usually for a good period of time, help you make the right bets on the right teams here. This one seems really legit. Like I really do like this. The fact that it'll be in an ACP, and I imagine that's a little bit off, by the way. That's some serious work to get ACP ready. Serious work. So I don't imagine that swarm is going to be ready soon. Maybe end of summer, maybe. Yeah, it's hard to say. But yeah, for now, watching this, definitely expecting this dump at some point. Definitely expecting it. It will happen. And then watch for an opportunity. Watch for an opportunity. Get some points that way. But in the meantime, as well, get ready. And I'm watching for an entry back into Virgen, by the way. If I'm not going to go and bridge over to Solana and go get some fuck coin, I really do want that. But also watching Solace, which opens up in 4 minutes. No rush, guys. In 4 minutes it opens. We get to watch it. Actually, we'll stay live for when it opens, but it'll be open for 24 hours. So you got 24 hours to commit your points and commit your virtual and see what way it's going. But if Bookie becomes the most participated launch, which it was, I do expect Solace to beat it. And I do expect it points pledge wise to also beat it too. I don't know if we'll see a record high, but I think it should beat Bookie just all around here. So we'll hang for a few and watch that. But yeah, again, good launch today. Virtuals cooking. I wish I knew if it was the website itself or the base blockchain. What's the reason that it struggles with hot launches? I do think it's base. But an element to that has to be the virtual site too. It does. Okay, so I got the chart pulled up. I have Uniswap open on another screen. And if this dips, I'm going to try to lock in a position here. I don't want it here at like 10 mil. Even if I believe it can hold that. I just don't want it here. I'd rather try to get a little upside, get some trades in. I don't want to just buy and lock. I would like to buy, sell some, lock some, get greedy like that. So that's the goal. Also looking at GVC 0.87 floor, looking spicy over there. Q, I see you're gonna be chatting about virtuals today. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'll pop in and listen. Yeah. Yep. I like that. That's fair too, especially because I don't think people have asynchronous, as a big launch yet, and I don't think people are going to worry if they're in jail over the next 10 days. So the guys in Bookie right now may not take that hit. Maybe they do what we're looking for, and it's traded. And look, in the past hour, I think that first hour volume includes the LP, but safe to say we've got over 1 million in volume in that first hour. But you could maybe time it right. Someone's going to dump. Someone I expect to do that. So, let's see. Oh, okay, this Solace. Look at that, dude. Wow, touched 11 mil. Jesus, what is going on? This is wild. Solace is an AI agent. It's like a companion mental health agent. Dude, this is really fucking spicy. And Solace is going to cook. Yeah. So first place finisher in the virtuals hackathon. It's going to have great attention. Is a play to let everyone spend their points on Solace, save for the next hype release. Yeah. Yeah, that's part of what I do, right? It's think of the thing after the big things. You can get bigger allocation. It's just how quickly do those guys get their points back? And you see a guy like Nick who's sitting on, what was it, 14 million points or something? Some of them have points to go around many, many times over. But yeah, that's part of the speculation. Moonship, you should share what you're doing when you're ready. When you're ready. All right, 48 seconds till Solace. I imagine a lot of people were doing what I did today, which was sell some sell some Virgen, right? All-time high, sell some to get liquid to play these drops. And then I think after these drops and profit taken, a lot of that comes right back to Virgen. Virgen is the perfect place to sink some of your wins. So I kind of expect Virgin to bleed out a bit here too. I don't know if it'll fall back to like a 20-ish mil market cap, but definitely watching that. All right, we'll keep an eye on Solace. Let's see how that commit process goes here to open up. By the way, Modest has a new auction coming. That artist has got a ton of hype. All right, Solace open. And let's see, we might even see a record here as far as fastest to get to 100. Could we see that within, minutes here? And I am going to commit to this one a little bit. We'll do some here. So Scott's put out this tweet. I like this, and I'm gonna make a little comparison here. I've been thinking about this lately. Scott put out a tweet comparing the virtuals launches back to 22 NFTs. I agree with that, and I think there's more. I think this is more similar than people might realize. Yeah, you're buying a fungible token, but you're definitely betting on a team and their product and what they're building. Right? This very much feels like playing NFTs back in the day without you getting an awesome collectible and getting the fun of the traits, right? And playing all that stuff in the collectability. That's missing. But man, I've always argued I think these agents would make more sense with NFTs as opposed to a token. Just like NFT is your access to the ecosystem. To me, it makes more sense. It's not what people want, but to me, it makes more sense. But this does feel more like NFTs as far as how you interact and engage with the product. Reminds me of NFTs. It does. And man, I can't wait for NFT season. And it's coming. Damn. 5 1 ETH plus sales in the past 20 minutes. Actually, and 5 of the past 6 sales have been over 1 ETH. We got a 1.5 ETH. We got a 2.5 ETH. We got a 1.27 ETH. We got a 1 ETH and then a 1.24 ETH. Guys, man. Crazy. GVC is absolutely going to get nuts. All right, we'll see with Solace here, 25%. We're just like, 2 or 3 minutes in? 2 minutes in. Can it get to 100 within the first, 10 minutes? It definitely could. I think most people here are going in. I am going to go in. But you get to see how this really works, right? If I pledge all 18,000 points, okay, it's going to suggest they do what? Let's see how many virtual it's going to suggest. And we're just going to watch it go down. Suggested virtual to commit 566, right? If it stayed like this because it's under 100, I would get max allocation, which is 0.5% of the supply. As soon as we cross 100, though, that all changes. And look, these guys can add to their position too. So the most points pledged, 196K. This will end up being in the millions. The top pledger is going to pledge in the millions. Yeah, I can't see why you wouldn't want the biggest allocation of this. Again, 0.5%. But some of these guys are going to up their point pledge to 3 mil, 4 mil, 5 mil, maybe. Huge chunks. And this is one of those plays. This is one of those all-in plays you definitely want to do. This is what I'm trying to plan for. Enough points to go all in. Just all in. All in. Turn your, $1,000 into many tens of thousands. That will happen, and that'll probably happen here on Solace. $57%. We're 3 minutes in. This is going to get to 100 within 10. Easy. Easy. It's an easy win. And honestly, not just is it an easy win, this is an easy one to probably get those tokens, park them, stake them, 90-day stake, right? 90-day diamond hand bonus. So stake them 3 months later. Will they be worth what you bought? Well, you bought in at a 260K market cap. Will it be worth that? I think so. So you lose nothing over time. You're probably going to be up still over time, right? I'm assuming that too. It's still a game of can you get more elsewhere? Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong tab. Here we go. Boom. Well, but because this one's going to be so oversubscribed, again, probably record high here. And so I'm trying to make my game plan around asynchronous. I do think that's going to catch people by surprise. Will they have points to still go in just as heavy? They might. We're going to have to see how this week goes. We'll see if people plan it incorrectly and they sell and they stop accruing points, or if they went all in on, look, people are going to go hard at ERM because of their partnerships. People are going to go all in here on Solace. Nothing else in between, though. It's very quiet in between Solace today and ERM next Tuesday. But then also next Tuesday is asynchronous. And I do think asynchronous is going to get a serious bid. Dropping, it's a really interesting week of just no other big launches. But next week got the two, and these guys, all it takes is people reading the description for them to realize these guys got serious partners. So asynchronous will matter. But yeah. Some stuff coming this week, I assume, that get this pretty wild. All right, 91%. This will hit 100. This might be the fastest we've ever gotten to 100. You can already see my allocation would be down to 290. If I go all in points-wise, 290 virtual, which would be amazing, dude. I would do that. But it's not going to be 100, right? It's not going to be that. I'm going to end up going all in. This is just in theory. I bet you if I go all in and there we go, 100%. I think this is a new record, 100% in 6 minutes. I believe that's a record. That's wild. That's fucking wild. Awesome. Dude, good for them. Good for them. They won the hackathon for a reason. Good for them. Now, here's what's going to happen, though. I'm going to get interesting. What happens if I got to put in 10,000 points just to get one virtual worth? Is that worth it? Probably not. And the tricky thing is, now, how does this scenario play out? Check this. What happens if there's no other good drops the rest of the week and I'm at risk of losing my points? What if? I'm not, by the way. I don't have any points expiring till the 6th. So I have plenty of time to use my points. But what happens if you have points expiring and there's nothing? There's nothing here. Nothing that's going to complete. There's nothing to put your points into. You risk losing them. So it's like sometimes you do have to burn your points even on a drop that's like oversubscribed. Or does it force you to put your points into a garbage one? It's probably either or both. There's a lot of game theory to this stuff, man. But there we go. Solace, main screen incorrect. It's 100. I see some people interested in Verdant. I'm not, but maybe I'm missing something. I'm not seeing anything about this one that I think is super interesting. I don't see this one. I'll spend a little more time digging in just to see if I'm missing something. But I don't see it there. I don't see it in any of these other ones again till next week. ERM looks interesting. Asynchronous is one I think people are going to talk about. That's the X factor. Beyond that, anything else coming up that we haven't talked about yet? There's definitely some I haven't really dug into. Babysitter, of course, we're 3 weeks off from that. So I really like them. I really like the guy from the team who came on the show. And I do want to get him back. Would love a check-in and talk to them. But that's going to be a cook as well. Another top 10 virtuals finisher. Were they 3? Were they number 3, or am I getting them mixed at this point? Because there's been a good handful. I feel like they were 3. They're great. That's a real product that has real utility. So I dig that one. Okay, let's do a final check-in with Solace. Let's do 130, 140%. Just amazing. And I could get excited now about 174 virtual worth, but I'm not going to get that. I know I'm not. I bet in the end I go all in. I could probably get 4 virtual worth, maybe. And then, man, guys, Bookie's still at 10.2 mil. I am a little surprised. Yeah. But yeah, no, nobody wants to dump. We'll see. We will see. Okay, fam. I'm going to do some writing today. It's time to start getting those tweets ramping up. If there's anything crazy out there, the whole purpose, the whole point of this show in the morning is to open it up to react to stuff later in the day, right? Big thing happens later in the day. Go live and talk about it. Might be GVC, might be another coin, might be anything. So keep your eyes out at any point. We go live with no notice on Chain Reactor. But aside from that show, this is your show, the morning show. It's the Swarm Report. It's all of it. It's AI, it's NFTs, it's crypto. It's a big change. I hope you're digging it. Anyway, come subscribe over on YouTube. It's CryptoSlam over on that side. Definitely follow along. We're keeping some great shit coming content-wise. Guests to announce soon. One really, really big one I can't wait for. Other surprises coming. I might be able to tease some of that somewhere for you guys. You can follow me at Hudah_idiot. Follow CryptoSlam on X. And then, man, you probably want to check out the Swarm. That is our AI agent who's in the Virtuals ACP, which is coming. I happen to know maybe closer to when. It's coming. Man, follow along there, guys. Oh, I hope you guys have a great freaking day. Be good. Go stack some wins. Don't get put in jail. Don't do that. But aside from that, go get some wins out there. Guys, have a great one. We'll see you later. Peace.